Accessibility volume 5%.
Good afternoon, and welcome to More Than Meets the Eye. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and for today we're redoing a reshoot of a video that I uploaded yesterday. Turns out that Sergeant Stalker was in the way of the camera the entire time. I cleaned up my workspace to make sure that there was y'all could see everything properly, those of you who could see, and my blind self put Stalker at a place I thought would be safe and secure, and he wouldn't get in the way, and turns out he got all the way in the way because I put him directly in front of the camera. Blind people problem. What you gonna do? You're gonna re-record the video. That's what you're gonna do. And, keep the other one up. Maybe people would like to see, a video where you don't see the guy at all. Which kind of was a little sad yesterday. But I'll just re-record the video today. It'll be great. It'll be wonderful. Thank you to Perspective End for pointing out that the video yesterday was crap. I hate the fact that it was the first video in a long time. It seems like Perspective End has actually commented or watched my videos. And of course, the first time in a while, and it's one that's messed up and requires fixing. So thank you, Perspective End, for getting a wild hair and coming and checking out my channel just in time to alert me that I had screwed up. I really love it whenever my viewers tell me that I've screwed up on something, because it means that I can fix it, and that's nice. I get super embarrassed whenever I've screwed something up incredibly bad, and I don't like it. I get really embarrassed and self-conscious, and it's nice to be have these things pointed out to me so I can fix it, so I don't feel so embarrassed or self-conscious. And I know I shouldn't feel self-conscious about my loss of vision, but I still do. And it's something that, I'll just have to work on. It's something we all have to work on. Life isn't easy fixes. Life is a lot of work. You're constantly working on something. You're trying to build something up. And that's what we're doing here. So I'm going to stop blathering on about random stuff now and, thanking other people like Beak_L for giving me positive attention and, give me a pat on the back. I really appreciate that, Beak_L. And to Soundwave Spectre, I really appreciate you being around and, commenting on my stuff. Thank you. So let's talk about Morph, one of the best, worst X-Men ever. I say worst X-Men ever because they just left him. So he showcased the worst of the X-Men because they acted their worst whenever Morph needed their help. They were the worst to Morph when he needed their help. They just left. They're like, you see in later episodes, the X-Men can take out a bunch of Sentinels, but that day, no. They just couldn't. That's just super annoying. And I'm really happy that I actually have myself a Morph now, and I can talk to you guys about him. And here's a conspiracy theory on Morph before we get into this. My conspiracy theory is Wolverine loved Morph. Wolverine and Morph were always good friends. Wolverine liked having Morph around. Now, why was that? Well, was it because Morph told funny jokes? Yeah, partly. But also I think it's because, and this is my personal conspiracy, Morph is a shapeshifter. Morph could become Jean Grey. Now, I don't know if Morph, I don't know Morph's sexual orientation at all, but I think that, X-Men could have totally gone that route where, Morph pretends to be Jean Grey for Wolverine, and they have an interesting bromance. Very, very unique and interesting bromance. So I'll leave you guys on that and can start on this video about this really fun figure. So to begin off, we're going to talk accessories. And accessories-wise, he comes with 2 fisticuff hands and 2 open palm hands. I've got the open palm hands on him. I like the open palm hands more than fisticuff hands. He comes with 2 heads, one on his body, and then a spare evil Morph head for whenever he shows up, because Mr. Sinister was literally the only person that seemed to give a crap about Morph other than Wolverine, and Mr. Sinister saved Morph's life. So, Morph is, he's loyal to Mr. Sinister now. And honestly speaking, I couldn't say I wouldn't do the same thing in Morph's case. Like, surrounded by a bunch of giant metal monsters trying to kill me, and then all my friends just leave me behind, and then this random dude comes up and he's like, hey, I'll save your life if you serve me. That's definitely a dark deal right there, but, it's your life. But And then again, it also showcased, later on in the episodes that the Sentinels didn't kill any X-Men. They just captured them and put them in prison. So had Morph just been captured by the Sentinels instead of by Mr. Sinister, then they would have freed him from the same prison that Beast was in. And that was just something else I thought about. I was like, man, why is it all the good shape changers have to go? Why can't we have a good shape changer in the X-Men? A positive shape changer, somebody that fights for the X-Men side who's also a shape changer, and not Mystique, because Mystique is just, there's got to be more shape changers than just Mystique, and that's where Morph comes into play. But they never want to use Morph. They never want to use him to his full abilities, and that's sad. All right, I'm done blathering on about Morph. Let's get into this more so. So that's the accessories. We'll talk head sculpt first. The head sculpt, both of the head sculpts are the same. I've already felt both of them. There's not much difference. I like the hair. I like the fact that it's a little bit greasy, but still, combed. So he's got that look of somebody who cares halfway about their appearance. Um, if you can change your appearance at will, you of course care halfway. Do enjoy the fact that the hair seems to do that little curl, that Superman curl. That's neat. And the nose is all right. It's a little, it's a smaller nose. And he's got a grin on his face. He's got some nice eyes. I do like his eyebrows. I like his eyebrows. They're nice eyebrows. And yeah, so that's him in that. Let's continue talking about the rest of him. This leather jacket is quite excellent. It's got some really, really nice feel to it. And it's made out of some really, soft. It's made out of soft rubber, and it does inhibit, sadly, the butterfly joint that he has, which is a shame. Which is a shame. It wouldn't do that if it was actually a cloth goods, and then they wouldn't have to have sculpted a cloth goods jacket arms onto his actual arms. But the jacket's really neat. It's got some folds in the fabric. You get up here around his neck, the texturing of the inside of the collar. The zipper has individual teeth texturing, even going so far as to put a little zipper in the bottom of it. And that's really nice. The jacket has some really good texturing on the arms. We've got these now, I appreciate that they didn't do pipe arms with this jacket. They actually did well-worn leather jackets, so it collapses and folds all over the place because this leather is well used. I mean, and judging by the feel of all these wrinkles and stuff, he puts oil on his jacket. This guy takes care of his jacket. That's why his jacket is so soft and subtle enough to make all these wrinkles and folds all over his arms. I really love that, and I appreciate a person that takes care of their leather goods. That gets Blind Prime's respect right there. So let's go over here to the chest area, and not the jacket chest, and we've got the same muscle texture that we got with the Vulcan figure, except this time it's painted in a more glossy paint, and not that flat feeling paint that we got with the Vulcan, which makes it feel a bit nicer and a bit shinier. It makes the actual figure feel different. That's cool. I really appreciate the fact that a textured paint can change the entire feel of the figure. That's always been cool. To the hands, he's got two open hands. He had two fisticuffs. His hands are really nicely sculpted. You get the little joints in them. You get some other stuff. It's decently sculpted hands. I really like these hands. Now let's get down here to the belt. He's got an X-Men belt. The X is sculpted into the X-Men belt. Gotta love that. X-Men belt. Gotta love me an X-Men belt. And further down, the legs have not much sculpting at all. Very, very similar to Vulcan's, except he's got these little doohickeys that are sculpted into the sides of his leg. And I don't know what these are. They're really small tubes. Like, they feel like bullet size, but he never carries a gun. So I don't know what those are. But they're right there on the tops of each of his thighs. It's really odd. Maybe one of you viewers would know what in the world those stuff is. And pinless joints like Vulcan. The texture all the way down. He even includes the stupid boot problem that Vulcan has, where these giant muscles in the backs of his leg get split whenever you twist the foot even a little bit. And that could have been fixed by giving us a nice a nice little boot sculpture around there. They changed that up a bit, but they were keeping it to the animated, and animated just had this painted on armor, painted on suits. And then we come down to his Mickey Mouse feet, as some people call them. They're just rounded shoes, and no texturing there at all. Nothing on the bottom of the feet either. Articulation wise, he shares all the articulation with Vulcan, except that his butterfly is a little restricted because of this leather jacket. And yeah, here on my right hand side, I have the Alex Ross Iron Man that was just released in the controller wave. This is the one in the controller wave that didn't come with a Build-A-Figure piece. But I wanted to showcase the fact that you could put Morph's head on anything, and I always thought, like, you know, if Morph could transform into Tony Stark, then he could totally just walk in and take the armor. And then, you know, evil Morph would have Tony Stark's armor. So yeah, I kind of just ran with that idea and played with it a bit. And that's what I got here with the Morph wearing Tony Stark's armor. And of course, it's the Alex Ross armor, which I really appreciate. You know, I'm a big fan of Alex Ross, and before I lost my vision, me and Alex Ross was my favorite artist. You know, he was, you know, all the big ones, all the big names that you can think of, throw them out the window. You know, this Alex Ross, he just did it. He made it really cool. I actually got in a fist fight in high school over an Alex Ross image. It was Kingdom Come, and somebody said that wasn't painted. Somebody took pictures. That's the only way art could be that good. Is, you know, no one can paint and draw to make, you know, in such realistic fashion. Me and him got in a fist fight over that one, because I'm like, no, you don't understand. You know, people can do some really cool things. But I'm going to save those stories for the Alex Ross Day whenever I talk about Alex Ross's Iron Man. And yeah, I think that's all for today, guys. The VHS box set Morph is quite an excellent figure. I do recommend it wholeheartedly, completely. It's a must-have for anyone's collection. I mean, it's Morph. That's simply said. And yeah, thank you for watching, and please tune in next Prime, where we will be talking about well, whatever I decide to talk about. But we'll definitely be talking about that next Prime. Thank you, and bye-bye for now.